everybody. I was talking to a client that I met a couple years ago when I was having a seminar with horses. So I invite people to seminars where we work with horses. Basically, I use horses for coaching. They help me coach people to become aware of what they would like in life, what they desire or what they're looking for or what they would like to change. So I've been coaching people for 15, 18 years or something like that, or even more. I've been working with people over 20 years. And when I started bringing my dog to seminars, she showed me a lot of things that I wasn't aware of about energies and about instincts, fears. She was really good at pushing buttons, also on myself. So 4 or 5 years ago, I'll have to count, maybe it's 5 years ago, I started facilitating classes, coaching classes, seminars with horses. That means you come there, we use the horses and exercises so you become more aware of yourself. Some people come and are afraid. Some people come and know so much about horses, want to learn even more how to work with horses. So there's usually a mixture of everything, from people being super scared to professional writers or writing teachers that are much better at that than I am. What I do is communicate with the animals and invite the animals, hello Vicky, I invite the animals to contribute and coach and work with me together with the people. So it's a space, I love it because basically I ask the horses also to choose if they want to be part of my seminars. So I always make sure I have quite a bit of horses because I don't want to use them just because, I have these 3 horses, I need to have them in my seminar now. So if a horse doesn't really, they have good days and bad days. They're very similar to us in that way. You'll see some are more excited, some like people more than others. Oh boy. We have put them in a box what they should deliver, like if they're riding horses or working horses or just like your extra pet. But they want to contribute so much more. And when you open to that, you'll see them show up different. So the owners usually are very surprised also the shift and change in the horses. And sometimes not, because they're already used to working, maybe also in therapy with people. So it can vary. But I love that people come like being scared of horses or being scared in life. A lot of people go around worrying themselves or having problems physically or being so much in their mind and trying to figure everything out. And during some of the exercises, the horses are super clear when that doesn't work for them. They want you to show up. So it's things I usually do in seminars. But when I bring in horses, it becomes so freaking clear. Hello, Elizabeth. And that's something I love because I can talk about it, I can show it, I can be it. But we have projections and we have barriers towards people. I think it's because we often have agendas. So if you perceive I have an agenda with something, you might have more barriers or you're more skeptical, or you have a defense system. But as you know, animals don't have that. We're often more inclined in receiving from them. When I had my dog with me in my sessions, it's incredible what she contributed with. I mean, she was amazing in contributing also just specifically in areas like afraid of dogs. She had this magic with allergies with dogs that I cannot explain, but she helped several people getting out of that too. It doesn't mean that helps with every person, but she's not alive anymore. But she was really, really good at that. She also showed me how coaching tools work, or when you use tools in your daily life. She showed me very specifically what else you can do with them and what to be aware of, how energetically you have to be them. If you're not being them, it doesn't work the same way. So that's what also helps a lot with the horses, is the way you're being will be different than the way you're thinking. If you're just thinking about things, we joke sometimes if you're thinking, you're stinking, but that's more because if you keep it here, because thinking is good. In many areas, it's really, really good to think and be a bit smart, right? But some things, you have to bring your body with you. You have to bring your whole being with you. So whatever you're being, don't get stuck in your head. And when you're stuck in your head, you'll see that the horse will not as easily engage with you. And this is where animals can be amazing at contributing to us being us. Like they are asking and requesting you to be the leader of your life. So it's a topic I use a lot. I will be doing also an online, like a 2-hour seminar, so you can see how you can use whatever you have around you in your life to being the leader of your life, how everything can coach you and facilitate you to choose more. And this can be like, I love using the animals as an example. You don't have to have an animal, but it's very helpful sometimes because you'll get some of the things easier. So that's why I facilitate these classes with horses, because they just make things so simple. You will get it, you will know it, and you will know how to be it. That's for me the difference. Then sometimes when I facilitate, some people get a little bit stuck in their head. I am willing to be the energy, and I often give a lot of examples. We even like look at things we can do in our lunch break just to see how to interact being it instead of just thinking it, knowing it, because knowing is often connected to your being, but not always. Most likely if you are knowing it totally, you might also have it in your being. But the thing is, when it's natural for you and you understand and you get it, the thing is like you'll see the difference changing. And when that changes, you won't have any doubts. Because if I doubt on myself all the time, it's really tough to move forward. It's not as easy. We stop ourselves. When we don't doubt and we don't judge us and we don't make ourselves wrong, the world looks very different for us, for others. And I think it's really sometimes annoying that we don't learn how to be vulnerable. Our parents haven't really taught us. It didn't exist in the generations before. And maybe the thing is, it might have, it might not have. It wasn't, it still isn't the most normal thing to be vulnerable. And I was like, yeah, it's getting a bigger topic to be vulnerable, not to have our barriers up and not to create distance. And again, when we haven't been brought up with it, it's not always the most natural thing. But it's a very, very attractive thing, is being natural, being yourself, being vulnerable. It's even sexy. Like, it's even very appealing. It does attract people. So you have a pull energy. It includes, like, it invites other people into your life when you're vulnerable. And it's something everybody can perceive. But most people will try to reject being it because we have not learned how to be it. When I work with animals, it doesn't work otherwise. It doesn't work to be anything but vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable with a horse, you see the difference. I don't mean that all horses will respond in a certain way. Absolutely not. But you will get so much information. So it's so different from you directly when you do the exercises. And when you see the difference of the awareness you get, the energy you get aware of everything, because you also have to have a space and be aware of what's happening around you. So it's a training, it's like an exercise being you with the whole world. Being the leader of your life means also to be attentive and aware of what's happening around you in your life with yourself, and not necessarily reacting. So when we're not aware what's going on, we often react against, like protecting ourselves. And those protections makes me often like you're against something, so you can be reactive. So it's more like keep your distance. And these defense systems don't create more, neither for you or for other people, and definitely not for things you want to create in your life or invite in your life. So when I work with people in their business, I really look at the parts where they have judgments, where they have their righteousness, like what have they decided how it's supposed to be or what they're supposed to accomplish and the way they do it. And if they're willing to be aligned with it and vulnerable with themselves, because often when we are, it's much easier to create whatever you desire. Like, let's not even talk about the topic of relationship. If you're not vulnerable in a relationship, do you really get to have an intimate relationship with somebody? And when you meet somebody, how many barriers are up just to defend to not get hurt? And we will get hurt. We do mistakes. People do mistakes. We can say something very inappropriate or react in a certain way. But you also see how often we heal, get over it, continue, and love can grow. But without vulnerability, no intimacy. Without intimacy, how can the love grow? And this is the same thing towards you. So being the leader of your own life is also willing to be vulnerable, willing to have an intimacy with yourself, willing to also like be open no matter like what I see when I'm vulnerable. I'm willing to be open and intimate with people and allow them into my world. It does not mean that I will announce everything on Facebook. You don't have to. That's not true intimacy or vulnerability. It's one way of interacting with people. For me, it's much more valuable what you choose to be in the moment you meet up with somebody in real life. How do you interact? How do you socialize? Do you allow people to really get to know you? Or do you just want to show the pretty you, the perfect person? And social media does create a very interesting expectation on life, how amazing everything is. I mean, have gone through a lot of tough things. I have shared some of it on social media, definitely. When my dad died, after he died, my mom got sick, my mom again sick. Now she's in a short time care facility for 3 weeks. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy coping with everything and making sure it works. I want people to have a great life, but I'm not responsible for their choices. And sometimes that becomes interesting because you still have to live and you get affected by their choices. And not forget yourself. I'm taking care of myself extremely. Like starting this year, I decided to be caring and nurturing to myself, prioritize myself, because I haven't really been doing that last 2-3 years. I've really taken care a lot of my father and other things, and I chose that. But I also saw that from more the time went on, I also skipped caring for myself in the way I did before. So I didn't really always have time. I was almost like always catching up with myself, and it wasn't very caring. So when I looked at 2023, I looked at, okay, what if this is the most caring year with kindness, generosity, and ease? Ease came along when a person that I went on a dinner with kept on saying, we were talking about dating and other things, and she kept on saying ease. It has to be with ease. And I was like, my whole body relaxed with that energy, because when I choose ease, it's so relaxing. So I added that because my priorities was really this caring, nurturing, and having myself also on the first choice in my life. And you might not have seen that I haven't done that because there's so many levels of this. But I also saw there's a different possibility now to learn even more about it, and the vulnerability and the generosity. So I also chose whoever I meet in life, whoever I spend time with, I want to spend time with people that are caring, have kindness, and are generous. Whatever that means, and whatever, if that's a 10 minutes or an hour or a whole day or a week, I want to prioritize that energy in my life. And when that became like so natural for me, that's what I'm choosing, that's what I'm prioritizing, things changed a lot and people popped up, and I kept on meeting people all around me that had that aspect and more of those energies, more or less, because I'm not like it has to be in a certain way or here's the right way of this. No, and nobody's perfect. But I saw also opening that door and being vulnerable myself with it. I didn't even say anything, and people start showing up, and meeting people were very different. People that I've met before, so beautiful, so different. I was talking on the phone with a girl that I've met it's a sister of a friend. I've known her, it's many years ago. I don't even know. She showed me a photo. Oh, she did show me a photo. It's over 10 years. No, I can't remember. It's a long time ago. At least 10 or 15, 20 years ago. I have to check the photo again. And I was talking to her on the phone a couple of days ago, and she says to me, and this is beautiful. It surprised me. And she said, I know good things are going to happen because every time you show up in my life, good things start happening. And I was like, what? What did you say? And at first I was like, is she referring to me? You know when you hear something and you can't really take it in because somebody's saying something really beautiful about yourself? So she said, and I was like, what? Yeah, when you show up in my life, and I have showed up a couple of times in her life, I guess I'm hearing that now, things change. And it's almost like it's going to be good. It's going to be great things are going to show up. And it's like, I still cannot almost say it without like, it's weird. And then I got the energy when she said it, and I was like, yeah, it is. Because I could see the things she was looking at changing, and the only thing I told her, you are going to create that. There's no doubt in my world that you're going to change that and choose something that works really well for you. Like there was no, when I was like, I sometimes look in the future and perceive things with people. This might sound weird. I don't care because that's something that's natural for me. That's being me. So sometimes I can perceive the future, and the way that when I ask questions about them, it doesn't mean I know what you're going to choose. I have no freaking clue what you're going to choose. You can choose left, right, single, blah, 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 and destroy your life. Sorry, you can't. But one of the things when I look, there's certain aspects of an energy that I see when people are moving forward. For me, there's like no doubt. It doesn't mean you might step three steps that are really great and then you deviate. I don't know. Of course, I'm not like a fortune teller. I'm not. Even if I should maybe be, because then I could charge a lot of money. I have a little bit of judgments of that area because people feel so dependent sometimes on fortune tellers and call them all the time and all that. I'm like, no, I want you to be the leader of your life. That's why you see that, being the leader of your life. Because when you're your freaking leader of your life, you trust you. You trust your intuition, your awareness, your gut feeling, whatever that is. Be smart, but ask questions, become aware. So one of the things I do different now than before is that I ask questions and I get a sense of the energy that's occurring. It doesn't mean that I always choose it or make the right choices. I'm a freaking being that chooses. A human being that makes a lot of mistakes, learn from them, and choose greater, hopefully. And I'm vulnerable with that, and I'm open-minded. Hey, we're here on this planet to contribute and create and contribute to each other. So, hey, I'm going to learn a lot more. But there's a sense sometimes I can see in the future people, and it's fun for me. I just like, and what I do is also support people in that energy. Whatever I can do to create and support somebody, life or business, I'm going to do that because I'm here on the planet together. It's not always about me. Even if I prioritize myself this year, that means I prioritize the choices I want to make. So if that means I have a client, I will support that person 100% and create as much magic for them as for me. Because including me creates great also on this planet. Excluding me is not a great choice. And you know, when you care for you, you have much more caring for other people. And that's something of the beautiful of everything. If you exclude you, you're going to be seeking that from somebody else. And instead of nurturing you, you have so much more possible receiving that nurturing energy from somebody else as well. So don't forget you, because you're very valuable. Because when you prioritize you and you become the leader of your life, you're going to see it's going to be so much easier to receive amazing people, receive amazing partner. I've been, for example, not open. I've been dating once in a while the last couple of years, but I also felt that I wasn't really ready to receive somebody. I've had people a little bit on a distance in that way. I felt that I couldn't deal with building a relationship and being there and creating that. So I started opening that energy again. But I also look a little bit at the moment is what really do I desire in a relationship and what would I like to bring into the relationship? So it's something different for me at the moment. And the apps are not very inspiring to me. There's a lot of quick messages and then it's done. It doesn't get me going. I'm going to ask a little bit more questions. I do like meeting people out in the world a little bit more. So that's something fun. And there's some events happening where I've started some energies to see what we can create. But again, being the leader of your life, what does that mean to you? And what if you start exploring it and not having the result already in mind, what it means and how it should look like? and I use everything around me to facilitate me to being to being a greater leader, because being a leader is something that we evolve and change and grow into every day more and more and more. So enjoy it. And if you can go to some event where they are working with horses, for example, in the coaching, I love it. We're all very different how we do it. So I can't say no, somebody's doing exactly what I'm doing, because they're not, because I know that. But I love using them to bring out the best in you, so you know and trust you to create your life in the way you'd like it. So hopefully we'll see you around the world. But I just want to inspire some energies, some thoughts today for you guys, and have a beautiful evening. Bye, guys.